Well, it looks like Donald Trump says it's a good time for the government to shut down if no money is available for the border wall. And this is just par for the course with Donald Trump consistently trying to do whatever he can to prevent the people from getting the services they deserve from the government. One of the things about Donald Trump that's particularly disturbing is that he has a tendency to want to be an all or nothing kind of president. So if he doesn't get his money for the wall, he wants everybody to stop receiving any government benefits and any government services just because his favorite program didn't get the funding that it deserves. Now, there are a lot of people out there who will be adversely affected by this kind of action or activity by the president and his encouragement of Congress to shut down the entire government. That includes people who are welfare recipients, but it also includes the corporations that receive payments from the government that Donald Trump personally supports. Now, not only is this a major problem for the people across the country, and it would be a problem that Donald Trump himself created for the people, and ultimately a political problem that he's created for himself, but we also have a particularly disturbing thing going on here, which is that Donald Trump is saying to the world that nobody born in the world can come to the United States. So it's completely unfair. When you look at the reality of the situation, there are no borders. There's no border between the United States and Latin American countries. There's no border even between the U.S. and Canada, and there's no border between the U.S. and, for example, China or any number of countries that are typically seen as overseas. I mean, the border is simply a physical impediment between the locations, right? There's no actual fence. There's only an ocean between these different countries. So what right does Donald Trump or any president have to say that somebody who's born in a less economically secure country such as Mexico, Honduras, Ecuador can't come to the United States? It's their right to come to the United States because they were born into the world, and as global citizens, they have every right to enjoy the benefits that we who are lucky enough to be born in the United States do enjoy. So it's not as if being born in the United States somehow makes us more equal than the other people in the world. So trying to shut down the borders and constantly promote these racist policies is very destructive, and it's simply anti-American. Now, one thing that I've noticed with the United States government's immigration policies is they do tend to try to prevent people from coming to the country, but they don't do anything to prevent or to permit American citizens to leave the country. So we don't necessarily, the U.S. government has no right to tell American citizens that they're allowed to go to foreign countries. It's up to the foreign country to decide whether or not they want to permit American citizens into the country. So even though some of these less advantaged countries like these Central American, the Colombias, again, the Ecuadors, the Brazils of the world, and if you go into overseas, I mean, you've got the UK and France and Germany and some of these other kinds of countries that all of which would like to have their citizens come here. Now, just because we should invite their citizens and allow their citizens to come here doesn't mean that we as Americans should be permitted to go to these countries and live, because we already have the standard of living and we already have all of the benefits that come with being Americans, and some of these countries want to keep their cultures intact, and that's up to them. They are not the imperial power that the United States is, and therefore they don't have the right therefore we don't have the right to push our culture and our people into their countries. So a lot of the Republicans are out there proclaiming that American citizens should be allowed to go to these foreign countries because the foreigners or the legal immigrants are allowed to come, and I say legal immigrants are allowed to come to the United States, but that doesn't mean that the United States citizens get to go to foreign countries. And even Canada, which is often seen as kind of a sister state to the United States, is no exception to this rule. The United States has ruled with an iron fist over Canada, at least in cultural terms. Shipping up there are poisonous fast food chains and our gun problems and other problems all going up to Canada. And what does Canada ever send negative to the United States? Nothing. They give us paper products and they give us very affordable oil and other things. And meanwhile, President Trump is over here trying to start a trade war with Canada, one of our greatest partners and allies in the world. So I guess that's basically the current situation with this trade war, as well as Donald Trump's attempt to shut down American citizens' access to their government just because he doesn't get his way on his unconstitutional, illegal, and racist border wall. And that's about it. If you have any comments, please leave those below. I always like to hear your ideas and thoughts. Of course, only positive comments. Any negative comments or trolling will be deleted, and you will be banned from the channel. On Friday every week I have the feedback roundup, and there was no feedback this last week, so I had to skip that episode. But if you do have feedback for me this week, I will be sure to include that, and we'll talk again soon, I'm sure. Goodbye for now.